They said it was one of the worst fires they'd seen in years. 12 hours, 3 buildings, no lives lost, on paper. But when the flames finally surrendered, Captain Drew Carter stood in the ash, wondering why the silence still burned more than the heat ever had. They were clearing the perimeter, checking for flare-ups. Drew spotted something in the corner, a collapsed backyard shed half buried in soot and cinders, and from inside it, a sound. So faint it might have been imagined, but not to him. He dropped to his knees, pulled back the charred wood. There, curled into the corner, was a tiny golden-brown puppy, covered in ash, shivering, alive, no tags, no collar, just a heartbeat and a pair of eyes too wide for their age. He radioed for the animal unit, but when they asked if he was leaving the pup, he hesitated, and then said, quietly, "I'll take him in." They named him Ash. Not very original, maybe, but it stuck. He was quiet, didn't bark, didn't whine, just watched Drew wherever he went, like he knew something about him that no one else did. Drew didn't talk about the house he'd lost 3 winters ago, didn't bring up the photos he never replaced, or the echo in his living room no one else seemed to hear. But Ash didn't ask for stories. He just curled up at Drew's feet and stayed. He started showing up at shifts, curled under Drew's desk or waiting by the truck. The other firefighters started calling him the Rookie. Someone even made him a custom little vest. Drew pretended to roll his eyes, but he always made sure the vest was clean. One night, they were called to another house fire. Nothing major, contained fast. But something about the scene hit Drew harder than usual. A child's toy in the yard, a pair of shoes at the door, ghosts he thought he'd outrun, catching up. Drew didn't speak when he came back, didn't take off his gear, just stood in the hallway with ash on his sleeves and fog in his eyes. Ash walked over, sat beside him, and leaned gently into his leg. No words were needed. Not that night, not ever. It wasn't about being rescued. It was about being seen. And somehow, this quiet ball of fur from a forgotten shed had seen him more clearly than most people ever did. They say not every rescue makes the news. Not every hero wears a badge. Sometimes the smallest survivors carry the loudest truths. Ash didn't save Drew's life. He gave it back to him. When the fire fades, some embers still burn, but so do the bonds that survive the heat.